Welcome back to Change Your Life. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of US quarter dollar value coins. In this video, we'll explore the worth, iconic design, hidden treasures, and shocking history behind the top 3 most valuable and expensive quarters from the United States of America. Featured in this list are 2019 P San Antonio Missions Quarter, 2005 D Minnesota State Quarter, 2003 P Illinois State Quarter. These are copper-nickel-clad coins, part of iconic U.S. mint programs. The San Antonio Missions Quarter features a historic reverse design honoring one of America's most important cultural landmarks. At first glance, these quarters look ordinary. Many are dirty, worn, and heavily circulated. But don't be fooled. Because certain mint marks, rare errors, and unique strike features have turned these everyday quarters into hot targets for collectors. Today, some of these seemingly ordinary coins can be worth thousands, or even millions, of dollars. So before you spend that old quarter, stick around, because you might be holding a fortune in your hands. Backhand index pointing right first up. Coin number 1. This coin does not look dangerous. It does not shine. It does not scream value. It sits quietly in pockets, jars, and drawers. But silence is exactly how the most powerful things hide. The 2019 San Antonio Missions Quarter was released like any ordinary coin. Copper-nickel clad. Philadelphia Mint mark. Face value only 25 cents. That's what most people believe. And that belief is why fortunes slip through fingers every single day. Turn the coin over. Look closely. For historic missions stand there in calm symmetry. Stone walls. Ancient arches. A design that feels older than money itself. These missions are not just buildings. They are witnesses. They saw empires rise, borders change, and history rewrite itself long before this quarter was ever struck. This design represents survival, faith, endurance. And sometimes, survival leaves marks. Collectors know this truth well. The most talked about coins are not always clean. They are worn. They are scratched. They carry scars of circulation. Because damage can sometimes be evidence, not weakness. A heavily circulated San Antonio Missions Quarter tells a story most untouched coins never will. It moved. It traveled. It passed through thousands of hands. And in rare situations, that journey creates something no mint can plan. Metal stress. Strike pressure. Alignment shifts. Tiny irregularities the naked eye ignores. But under the right light, to the right collector, those flaws turn into fingerprints of rarity. This is where people make their biggest mistake. They see dirt and think damage. They see wear and think worthless. They spend it. They lose it. They never look back. But seasoned collectors stop. They weigh. They listen. They compare. Because history doesn't repeat itself cleanly. There are San Antonio Missions quarters that exist slightly outside the norm. Subtle variations. Unusual textures. Unexpected weight balance. Edges that feel different. Surfaces that react strangely to light. Nothing dramatic at first glance. Nothing obvious. But value rarely announces itself loudly. What makes this coin dangerous is not what it promises. It's what it hides. In today's market, storytelling matters. Provenance matters. Condition patterns matter. And a worn coin with the right story can outperform a perfect one with none. Some collectors chase perfection. Others chase truth. Truth lives in circulation. That is why rumors spread quietly in collector circles. Why screenshots move in private groups. Why certain quarters vanish from listings overnight. No headlines. No noise. Just movement. And the people who understand this rule never rush. They never sell fast. They never take the first offer. Because they know one thing very clearly. A coin only has one price. Until someone understands it better. If you are holding a 2019 San Antonio Missions quarter that looks tired. That feels old beyond its age. That carries marks instead of shine. Do not assume it has reached the end of its life. Sometimes circulation is not the end. It is the beginning. History doesn't always reward the careful. Sometimes it rewards the curious. The patient. The ones who stop before spending. Because every once in a while, a quarter is not just a quarter. It is a reminder. That value hides in plain sight. That history leaves clues. And that fortunes are not always made by finding something new. But by recognizing something everyone else already touched and ignored. And that is why this coin continues to shock. This quarter does not look rare. That is its greatest weapon. The 2005 Minnesota State Quarter entered circulation quietly. No celebration. No warnings. Just another copper-nickel-clad coin sliding into American hands. Denver Mint mark. 25 cents on paper. Nothing more, according to most people. But history never reveals itself all at once. Turn the coin over. Water everywhere. Still lakes. Tall trees. A lone fisherman drifting in silence. Land of 10,000 lakes. Not just a slogan. A mood. A warning. Because still water hides depth. This design is calm on purpose. It feels peaceful. Almost forgettable. And that calmness is exactly why collectors began to look closer. Because coins that shout are easy to spot. Coins that whisper are the ones that get missed. The Minnesota quarter was struck in massive numbers, yes. But mass production does not mean identical lives. Every coin experiences pressure differently. Heat differently. Impact differently. And circulation turns metal into memory. A heavily worn Minnesota quarter has traveled. Gas stations. Snow-covered highways. Cold hands. Hot summers. Years of friction against other coins. Years of weight pressing against its surface. That kind of life leaves marks no mint can recreate. Collectors learned long ago that dirty does not always mean damaged. Sometimes it means proven. Sometimes it means authentic. Sometimes it means the coin survived conditions others never did. The Denver Mint mark matters here. Not because it guarantees value. But because it narrows the story. It defines the origin. And origin is everything in numismatics. Some Minnesota quarters show subtle differences. Tree lines that look heavier. Water lines that catch light strangely. Edges that feel sharper or softer than expected. Weight that feels just slightly off balance. Nothing obvious. Nothing dramatic. And that's the danger. Because the most expensive mistakes are the quiet ones. People spend these coins every day. They clean them. They polish them. They destroy the very evidence that could have mattered. All because they assume wear equals loss. But experienced collectors slow down. They understand one truth. Value is not created by beauty alone. It is created by story, scarcity of condition, and timing. A coin that looks tired might be carrying a circulation pattern no longer possible. A surface texture that only existed before machines adjusted pressure. A strike character that disappeared without announcement. That is how legends start in this hobby. Not with fireworks. With questions. In private collector spaces, Minnesota quarters come up quietly. No hype. No shouting. Just curiosity. Just screenshots. Just conversations that never reach the public. And when demand is quiet, supply disappears slowly. This is why rushing is dangerous. Why selling fast is expensive. Why assuming value is fixed is the biggest mistake of all. A coin's price is not permanent. It changes when understanding changes. If you are holding a 2005 Minnesota State quarter that looks worn, tired, ignored, do not rush to judge it by its face value. Do not clean it. Do not dismiss it. Because sometimes a coin does not become powerful because it is rare. It becomes powerful because people finally realize what they overlooked. History doesn't announce corrections. It whispers them. And every once in a while, a quarter becomes more than a quarter. It becomes a test. Of patience. Of curiosity. Of whether you see only money. Or meaning. That is why this coin keeps returning to the conversation. Not loudly. Not publicly. But persistently. And that persistence is never accidental. This quarter was never meant to be loud. That is why it survived unnoticed. The 2003 Illinois State Quarter entered circulation as part of a series people thought they already understood. Another state. Another design. Another coin to spend without thinking. Philadelphia Mint. Copper-nickel clad. Ordinary weight. Ordinary shine. Nothing that made people stop. And yet, this coin carries one of the heaviest symbols in American history. Turn it over. Abraham Lincoln stands quietly in the center. Not dramatic. Not heroic. Just present. The land behind him stretches wide, calm, and patient. Land of Lincoln. For simple words that carry centuries of power. This design wasn't created to impress collectors. It was created to blend in. To circulate. To live in pockets, tills, and hands across the country. And that decision changed everything. Because coins that circulate deeply gather something mints can't produce. Real wear. Real pressure. Real life. A heavily circulated Illinois quarter has seen America move. Trains. Highways. Factories. Small towns. Big cities. It has passed through moments of boredom and moments of urgency. And every pass leaves a trace. Collectors don't just study coins. They study survival. The Philadelphia Mint mark matters here because it defines origin, not value. It tells you where the journey started. What happened after that is where the mystery lives. Some Illinois quarters show surfaces that feel different under light. Lincoln's outline slightly softer. The fields around him uneven in a way that doesn't match modern expectations. Edges that tell a longer story than the date suggests. Nothing obvious. Nothing you'd notice in a rush. And that's exactly why these coins slip through hands every day. People think dirty means ruined. In reality, dirt often means untouched. Uncleaned. Unaltered. Still telling the truth. Cleaning erases evidence. Where preserves it? That's the paradox most people never learn. There are collectors who wait years for the right circulated example. Not shiny. Not perfect. But honest. Because certain wear patterns cannot be recreated. Once they're gone forever. This is how overlooked coins quietly gain attention. Not through headlines. Through whispers. Through comparisons. Through questions that don't have easy answers. Is it the strike? Is it the pressure? Is it the era of circulation? Is it something the mint never documented? The market doesn't move first. Understanding does. And when understanding shifts, value follows. That's why selling fast is the most expensive decision in numismatics. Because today's ordinary coin can become tomorrow's reference point. Not because it changed. But because perception did. If you're holding a worn 2003 Illinois State quarter, it doesn't mean you're holding millions. It means you're holding possibility. And possibility is dangerous if ignored. Most fortunes aren't made by finding something rare. They're made by not letting go of something early. History doesn't reward impatience. It rewards those who notice what others dismiss. This quarter isn't shouting for attention. It never did. It's standing the way Lincoln stands on its reverse. Still. Quiet. Waiting. And sometimes, that silence is exactly where power hides.